Hi there and welcome back to Triplicate, and we sleep in the loft conversion of our house, and to keep us warm at night we just have a little electric heater because it's only a little space, and to keep the room at the right temperature at the right time we have a Timeguard timer cum thermostat. And I did a video on getting this up and running and figuring out how it works, but lately, well, it's autumn now and we're soon going to need it again. We don't need it over the summer obviously, and I find that, well, it's supposed to have some kind of battery backup, but it wasn't working. You unplugged it and it just lost all its settings. It's supposed to hold its settings for, there we go, non-replaceable factory fitted rechargeable battery, 4 weeks. Okay, well there's a challenge for a start. Well, it wasn't, you would unplug it and you would just lose it, and then latterly I noticed it was just dead, wasn't doing anything. So, at the risk of it making me a liar, I have here some mains, which I think is on. Yep, the little light's going. So here it is, I've plugged it in, I'll turn it on and it comes on. Why, oh why, does something not work till I turn on the camera and then it starts working? Plus the fact I noticed it has a 3-year guarantee, so it's probably still under guarantee. Okay, well I will leave it plugged in to charge up and see how it goes. That'll probably leave it all day to charge and then see what it's like in the morning. Okay, so it now says 22:36 on the clock and it was 9:41 or 2. I remember I set the clock to, so it's had 13 hours odd to charge up. So, shall we see if the battery has retained any charge, is working. So, okay, it would appear so. Really is going to make a liar out of me, isn't it? Okay, well we'll see in the morning whether it's still holding its charge. Well, so here we are, it's 9ish next morning, just after 9, and it's not there, and I sort of would assume it would charge up enough in, what, 13 hours to last another 10 or 11. So I think the battery's dead, but I'm going to give it 24 hours charge, and if it doesn't survive, you know, if the battery still isn't functioning as we would hope, then we can assume the battery's had it. What happens if I turn it on? Nothing. So that's actually what the fault I originally saw, that it ran out of battery, it died, and then it wouldn't come back. So there may be something more subtle than a dead battery. Right, there's a reset button. Just needs something to poke into it. Hang on, I'll find something to poke in that little hole. Okay, we have here a pick which will hopefully go in that hole. And we'll just plug her in again. Not sure I can do this. Right, hopefully lined up with that. See what happens. Right, pick lined up with hole. Is that in frame? Whoops, no, I've turned it off now. Oh yes, there we go. So it's as though the voltage is sort of down but not out, and it's browned out, and just the micro's frozen up. Well, at least we know that much. So as I say, I will charge it up for 24 hours, maybe even 48, because I might not get onto it tomorrow, and then we will see how long the battery lasts. Okay, so it was something past 9 when we took it off charge, and it's now 16:39, and if it's just about dead. If you look at exactly the right angle, I can't see. I don't know whether that's camera's picking that up. It's kind of still working, but it's pretty much had it. Shall we just check? Huh? It's still functioning, but the battery's just about dead after 7 odd hours, 7.5 hours, and it's supposed to last 4 days. So I think this has a dead battery in it. So shall we tear into it and have a look and see if we can replace the battery, which the instructions claim is non-replaceable. Okay, so we've decided it's faulty. Let's get stuck in. Let's tear it apart. And there's 2 screws in the back here. The only ones I have so far seen. So let's see what happens. Does that look like it does? Right. Right, let's see what's in here. Well, there we go. Circuit board, which has the switches and the display, and I guess the display driver is just under a blob of pitch. And here we have a power supply board. That's the relay. Don't know how. I'm guessing the mains comes in here, and I'm guessing, and there are 4 little pins so underneath that board. Oh no, that's the reset switch. So that's the relay. So somewhere under this board there's a power supply. Oh, and there's very thoughtfully they've put a connector between the 2 boards. Seems to be fairly reasonably made. Right, so, well, that's the battery. That has got to be a battery. The battery says on it lithium. Gonna focus? Don't think so. Says on it lithium ion rechargeable. 2032. Well, that's a new one on me. We pull this board out just to see what's underneath it. I've only got 2 screws, so right, I reckon, focus, I reckon if I can get a pick under here and actually hook it under the board and give it a pull, yeah. So let's see what's underneath. Not a lot. That's, I guess, a rectifier. And I'm guessing these just are big dropper resistors. That's the power supply capacitor. And somewhere on the other board there'll be some kind of a regulator. And the battery is soldered down. Okay, let's check the voltage across it, because if there's 3.6 volts across here, then there's something else wrong with this unit. So let's give it a 2.2 volts. That won't work too well. Okie dokie, well, 2.3. So, new battery time. Well, I must admit, rechargeable 2032s are a new one on me. But they exist, and this is one. And well, will you look here, this looks exactly the same, right down to the yellow plastic around the outside. Unfortunately, well, paying 9 quid for two. Not the end of the world, but 17th of October minimum delivery, back into November. I wish we'll need our bedroom heater working by then. So that, I suppose, remains an outside option. So instead we have one with no tags on. Well, stupid. Which is very definitely a triplicate price. So I've ordered one of those, and whoops, let's find the thing itself. There we go. I've ordered one of these battery holders for £1.85, which have tags on the bottom. Whether the spacing will be the same as the original battery, I doubt. But we will do something. We will get it in there somehow. It's because I don't like soldering to the faces of batteries. I've done it, but I don't like doing it. So they will take, I didn't check when that's coming. Oh, that's the 6th of October, joy. So they will take a little while to get here. So I shall continue on with this video when I have a battery and a battery holder. Okay, been a little while because I've been away painting the boat, amongst other things, but have sent off and got in some replacement batteries, 2 batteries and 2 little battery holders. So now it won't be like the manual says, you will be able to change the battery. And I think that might be a requirement, because I've had a little poke around and look at the circuit. Okay, kind of got it so it's reasonably big and hopefully in focus. So what we have here is, that's just the push button, the reset push button I believe. That's a bridge rectifier, that's a Zener diode, that's a Zener diode, that's a little transistor, and I can't read a number off it, so I don't know exactly what it does. And that's pretty much it. Now, I always thought if you had a lithium ion battery you needed quite a sophisticated control, usually a little chip that does all the jobs. And the battery is connected straight across the connector. These are the connector lines, so that's one end of the battery, goes to there, and the other end of the battery goes to there. So what we seem to have is a very crude circuit which presumably produces 3.6 volts straight across the battery, no matter what the state of the battery is, which is, my understanding of lithium ions, not brilliant. And the battery is connected straight to the connector and powers the circuit directly. So yes, if you don't plug it in and you leave it going, it will flatten the battery and kill the battery. So I am not impressed by that circuit. However, we have it, we have a new battery, and the batteries aren't dear, so we will put our little battery holder in, replace our battery, and hope it all fits back together. Looking at it again, I believe that transistor there drives the output relay that turns the mains on and off, so the entire voltage regulation stroke battery charging circuitry seems to consist of a Zener, and that resistor, that relay says 24 volts on it. I think you can't see that, can you? So I am guessing this big Zener is providing some kind of 24 volts, and I think there's no transformer or proper power supply, it's all just big dropper resistors off the mains. Oh, it's crude, it's crude. And it's hard to tell which way the battery goes because there's no voltage left across the battery. It's absolutely stone dead finished, and it doesn't say plus or minus on the top that I can see, but I think, bearing in mind it's looks like, where are you, one of these that somebody's spot welded contacts on and put this yellow plastic jacket round. In which case, I think the top as we're looking at it is positive, which would make that terminal positive and that terminal negative. So I'm going to mark that on the board. Right, time for some vandalism. Let's get this dead battery out. Just going to chop it off and then take the wires off. If we compare it to this one, as I say, it's just one of these with these contacts spot welded on and this yellow jacket put round it. So the positive is the surface with the writing on, and the negative is the surface with the, what do you call that, textured finish thing. Okay, so time to fire up the soldering iron, I believe. Oh yes, I take it all back. Can you see that? I can't really see it on the little screen on the camera, but it says plus just there by my finger. So, okay, I was wrong. It does fit in. It goes over the edge of the board there, so I'm not quite sure whether that's going to go into the case. We shall see. I should have to chop a bit off. So I will now just dab some solder onto these pins and put a battery in and see what happens. Come on. Thank you. Looks good. This is a good time to check it does actually fit back in the case. There it goes. It is, and does the case fit back together? So it works. Yeah. So it works. And it appears to. Yes, yes. Case fits back together. I think the only thing we haven't got is that hole there, which is now behind the battery case. Oh well, you can't have everything. So I guess we should stick a battery in and see what happens. Right, first up we will reconnect the connector and we will find a battery. I'm trying not to lose the screws. Let's see how much in the way of voltage is in this battery. To start with, should be 3.9 volts, so that looks pretty much fully charged to me. Good. So, a moment of truth, positive at the top. We need to, no, I'm going to just shove her in and push her down. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. That's the reset display. Yep, hold. Nice bright display. I won't progress any further with that. Okay, 2 large screws and 2 small screws. Which were which? I would guess the smaller screws would hold the power PCB down. Oh yeah, there's the board in. You see what I'm doing it. And here, the big screws, I'm guessing. There we go, I know the time's wrong. Right, so plugged in, powered up, connected to my little magnifier light off here. You'll see this turn on and light up the desk and probably bleach out absolutely everything, but there you go. So that's off, mode off. If I press that, mode A, doesn't matter. On it comes, you can see the light, and that's on, and that's off again. So it would appear to work. I'm assuming there's nothing gone wrong with the battery charging circuit because I've been hacking around with it, but we shall see if the battery dies after a little while. I'm done for the charging circuit. I got to test it of course, but I couldn't be bothered in the end. So that is, there we go, thumbnail shot here. So that's it for this video. It is resurrected. I need to program it up and put it back on the heater, and I need to remember to keep it plugged in and just use the battery for when it needs to be unplugged and moved about, because if we let the battery go flat then the battery will die. So operationally quite a nice little unit. Design wise I guess it's designed to a price, but I do not like the way the battery control is done, just with a Zener to set the voltage across the battery, and with nothing to disconnect the battery when it goes flat, so it goes very flat and dies and needs replacing. But now at least it has a battery holder in, and I do have another battery, so if it dies I can replace it fairly readily. So that's it for this video. I hope it's been an interesting look into Timeguard temperature controllers. So for now that's it, and it's a goodbye from Triplicate. Goodbye.